Alright, tonight I'm going to do a quick video on the driver's seat and this science project that we've kind of been working on for a while. Haven't done much lately. I just hit the new frame rails and the brackets with some Rust-Oleum, but just wanted to give you an idea of the benefits and the reasons why I wanted to make my own seat bracket. So that's an SN95 passenger seat. Obviously it's not all the way back on the rails. I can't go all the way back because it's gonna break my brake proportion valve. No pun intended. It's too close. There's like a metal frame or something in the cushion and it's right up against that valve, so I didn't want to ruin that just for this video. But you can clearly see how far back and how much lower the driver's seat is compared to a stock style seat in a Fox body. One of the problems I had with my seat, I ran the Kirkey seat with the side Kirkey rails on a sparkle bracket to your factory Fox body floor. So it bolts here, nut here, and then your two legs in the back on the floor pan. The issue I had is my helmet would actually hit the roll cage, so that was super annoying and obviously not safe. So biggest thing with these cars, obviously we know these cars are nose heavy. Anytime you can shift weight from the front to the rear, there's a huge performance gain. Anytime you can remove weight from the front, there's a performance gain. And obviously, me being the driver, with all the gear and whatnot, it's got to be at least 180, 185 pounds. So going from stock seat position to quite the amount of space back is going to shift more weight toward the rear of the car for a better balance. So there's two big wins here. One, dropping the seat as low as possible, which is what we did by using our 2x2 square tubing to, in essence, create our own frame rails and then bolt the seat right to the frame rails. I removed the sparkle bracket, which probably gave me 2.5 to 3 inches lower. So just doing that was a big improvement, and then getting away from running on such a high piece of framework here to where the floor would be is also another benefit. So we dropped the seat a couple inches and we moved the seat back a couple inches, a decent amount. I wanted to go a little more back, but you can see I'm running out of room here with the harness bar. So that wasn't, I didn't really, it wasn't a huge deal. I'm happy with what we did. Right when I put the padding on the Kirkey seat, it's like just touching right here. So I'm pretty much at the limit of moving the seat back. I know a lot of guys with the harness bar, they'll do a loop, like a 3 or 4 inch loop that comes around. For strength, you want a straight tube all the way across instead of that. So I don't know, I could have done that and probably got the seat back more, but again, I don't want to have any issues with the rules going track to track. Like I said, the main goal here was to get the seat lower and a couple inches back. Now by doing that, I no longer can effectively manipulate the pedals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld the steel plate on the floor. I'm going to buy an aftermarket pedal box, and we're going to make clevites for all the pedal levers, and I'm going to hook up linkage rods with spherical rods on spherical rod ends on the new aftermarket pedals. That's going to give, I'll measure it, I'll figure out once I'm in here with the padding and my gear and my shoes, and I'll get everything dialed in. 5-point harness is going back, I'll get all strapped in. I'll figure out where I want to set these pedals, you know, bolted to that steel plate, and then set up my linkage to operate the pedals. Another thing I'm doing, we have to set the shifter back. So your stock shifter is going to be over here with the transmission. The idea, I made a custom shifter that's going to also have some linkage connecting to the stock shifter. So everything is going to be, it's going to fit like a glove. The car is going to be set up and built, designed, you know, specifically for me and my comfort, and I really look forward to it. The steering column that I'm running, they send them very long, so you can cut back and set up your steering wheel how you would in a stock setup. But I actually said, instead of, you know, cutting it shorter, let's use it at the maximum length, and like what it just ties into my plan of setting the seat back. So that's something I've kind of, you know, wanted to do for years, especially with the Fox body. I always felt like I was sitting way too high. I started the car with the stock seat. Then I bought off eBay a Sparco Torino 2. It was a sport touring seat with the sliders, and it reclined. Very comfortable seats. They were black and gray. I ran those for years. They were lighter than stock, but they were still a comfort street style seat. So I ran those. I ended up selling those to, I don't even remember now. I sold those back in 2011, I want to say. I found, when I was in North Carolina, I found some Sparco bucket. I believe they were Sparco Ultra seats, one-piece fiberglass bucket seats. So I took out the Torino seats, I put in the bucket seats. They were much lighter, obviously more of a race car kind of seat. No more sliders, no more reclining. The only thing is the way they molded the fiberglass seat. Again, I sat up way too high. I was using a Sparco seat, a Sparco bracket. Actually, I might have kept the sliders with those seats, now that I think about it. I don't remember, but I know I had the Sparco brackets, and it just sat up. You know, one, it bolted into the Fox body frame, so you're already a couple inches off the floor in the front. And then two, having those brackets, it just gave me so much height. It always felt like I was in like a big, you know, tractor trailer truck. I used to own an NA Miata, and I would get in the Miata. This was years later. And I always felt so low to the ground. It's such, you know, in a sports car. And then I would get in my Fox, and I'm like, oh, I'm so high up. Never liked it. Then, you know, moving forward, I went to the Kirkey seat. It was the cheapest option, simple. They sell the brackets, bolt it right in. Like, it just worked great. I ended up selling the Sparco brackets because I didn't need one for a passenger seat. Obviously, I have a stock SN95 seat that I used, but I ended up selling those brackets and going Kirkey side bracket right to my new frame rails. So that was a huge improvement in the height area. And then another thing too, the Kirkey padding. This is actually really comfortable. I've driven the car 2, 3, 4 hours out to a racetrack, and the rake of the seat, again, this is before I did this. Obviously, I wish I could have a little more rake, you know, leaning back in the seat for more comfort, but with this padding, it's actually not a bad ride, even with the stiff coilovers and, you know, everything else I got going on. I used to drive this car on the street all the time. One thing I do want to either make or order is a lumbar support. Get like a little half moon in here for more lumbar support. But other than that, it's a very comfortable seat. I'm very happy with it. It's super light. I can I'll write down in the description how much this setup weighs with the padding compared to your typical stock seat. Again, this is out of an SN95, so it might be a little bit heavier than a Fox body seat, but it's got to be comparable. Another thing I like about the Kirkey is you can actually buy a full, what is it called? I always draw a blank. Containment. You can buy the containment add-on that would, in essence, hold your helmet and your head from going left to right. So I can always upgrade to a more racier containment seat with this typical road racing seat. So that's pretty good as well. But I just wanted to do a quick video and just show you, you know, the huge difference of not only height, but on how far I'm going to be sitting in the car compared to a stock Fox body. So that's all for now.